Well, good Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Kara Thompson. We're getting closer to lunchtime and we're still tracking some snow in our region. Now, I do want to stress not everyone is going to see equal amounts of snowfall, and I don't believe this is going to be a major winter weather event. But still, if you do plan on heading out and about for today, whether it's playing in the snow or running some errands, please just make sure that you use caution on those roadways, as well as make sure that you give yourself extra time to get to where you need to go safely. Now, let's go ahead, take a quick look outside for this morning. Here's some of our live cameras right now. Towards Roanoke and Buchanan, we have those cloudy skies overhead. And from our Roanoke view, this is from the Mill Mountain Zoo, you can see some of those snowflakes falling from the sky. They are very fine. It's almost like powdered sugar in a sense. This is not going to be those big snowflakes falling from the sky. They are going to be itty bitty, and that's what's going to give us those dry, fluffy snow conditions that we're expecting in parts of our region. Now, notice towards Hot Springs and Wintergreen, we're really not seeing all that much in the way of snow falling from the sky. Actually, we're seeing some sunshine peeking out towards Wintergreen and Hot Springs for this morning. So with that, as we start to go along in the north of I-64, snow chances definitely go down, but as we go along in south of US 460, so central Virginia into the Roanoke Valley, continuing into the New River Valley and south side, that's where we have a greater chance of seeing that snow for today, probably seeing fall outside your window right now. But speaking of the snow, we would love to see your snow photos, this wintry weather in our region. You can share your photos with us as well as your videos. Just head to our Report It tab on WFXRTV.com. It is at the top on the right side of the screen. It says report it to WFXR News. You can hit that button. It will take you to where you will upload your videos and photos, and you may have the chance to see them here on our live stream as well as on air. That's as we head closer to 10 o'clock for tonight. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the weather that we're dealing with for today. Right now, when it comes to our radar, we're definitely seeing more of that snow as we go along in south of US 460. Could be seeing a bit more of those flakes flying towards Amherst County at this time. But where you see those little dots at here on our radar with the snowflakes, those are some of the snow reports that we have received for today. So I'm going to make a full screen again. We're going to click on some of those icons just to see what we're dealing with in parts of our region. And there's definitely places that have seen a few inches of snowfall. As we start to go north of Danville, this is the Dry Fork area, has seen 3 inches of snowfall for today. Near Martinsville, near the horse pasture area, also looking at 3 inches of snowfall. Heading towards Patrick County near Meadows of Dan, above 4 inches of snow. I am seeing more of those higher snowfall amounts along the spine of the Blue Ridge as we head towards the Mountain Empire. That's where some of our highest amounts are being reported so far for today. Outside of Galax, about 3.5 inches of snowfall. I'm going to head towards South Boston. Right now, less than an inch at this time. Now, as we move a little bit further toward the north, we're getting snow accumulations. They're just not as high. As we start getting closer to Lynchburg, outside of Forest, less than an inch of snowfall. Let's go towards Roanoke, about 1.5 inches at this time. Franklin County, we have seen some accumulating snow for this morning. Right now, just above 2 inches of snow near Rocky Mount. And even outside of Ferrum, I did see a report of about 3 inches for this morning. Let's go into Montgomery County, where right now in Ellis, the latest report that we got was about 1/2 inch of snow. Now, that was overnight, so that may have been updated. I'm going to go a little bit towards Christiansburg, 2.5 inches of snow about right there for this morning, and 4 inches of snow near Pulaski. So the main thing is, if you live along or south of US 460, so near Lynchburg, Roanoke, heading towards the south, you do have a greater chance of seeing that accumulating snowfall. Not really seeing that much in the way of snow reports as we get closer to the I-64 corridor heading towards the north, and that's because we're not expecting that much in the way of snow in those areas. The air is just way too dry, so that snow isn't actually heading further toward the north for today. Now I'm going to go ahead. We're going to return to that double screen right now, talk about some of the winter weather alerts that we are dealing with for today. And this will continue into your Sunday morning as well. We still have the winter weather advisories in effect for the greater Lynchburg area towards the Roanoke Valley and Craig County. And then we have the winter storm warning in effect. That's for Southside Virginia as well as the New River Valley. Now, regardless of the amount of snow that you see, we are expecting accumulating snowfall in these regions. And because of that, slippery road road conditions may develop. Coming into work this morning, I will say some of those roads were becoming snow covered. It wasn't a ton of snow, but still that will create some slick driving conditions. Good news is we have some snow plows that are heading out and about. They're helping to clear those roadways, and it is much easier to plow powdery snow rather than ice. So as you head out and about maybe this midday, the roads might not look so bad, and that's just because it is so much easier to plow this snow than what we had over your past weekend. But still, give yourself extra time to get to where you need to go safely. Now let's get into the bigger picture though. Satellite and radar, we've been keeping our eyes on this coastal low. It's off the coast of the Carolinas right now. This is what's helping to throw some of that moisture into our direction, and because we have that cold air in place, that's what's giving us the chance for snow for our area. Now, the reason that we're not seeing necessarily that snow towards areas that are north of I-64 is because we have such dry air in place that's coming in from the north, and that is one of the things that we will have to keep our eyes out for today. As we continue to have more northwesterly flow, especially aloft, that's going to chip away at some of the moisture that the storm system is throwing towards our region, and that's why snowfall totals aren't necessarily that high across our area. Now, speaking of the dry air, it is very dry in parts of our area. What we're looking at is your temperatures and dew points. Right now, temperatures, they're mainly in the single digits and teens. Now, with our dew point values, what you want in a sense of seeing more moisture is that dew point value to be very close to the temperature. And we are generally looking at dew points anywhere from the teens and even below zero, especially towards hot springs. Now, hot springs, not expecting much in the way of snow. We've even seen some filtered sunshine as we head north of I-64. But if we see lower dew point values, then that means that we're not going to be seeing as much of that snow falling from the sky. It may actually evaporate before hitting the ground. But let's talk about our snowfall forecast. I have made some adjustments based on what we've been seeing so far. We definitely have our highest snowfall totals expected as we get closer to the Virginia-North Carolina line. That's where we have more of that moisture kind of entering the region. That's where we could have anywhere from 4 to 7 inches of snowfall in those spots. But overall, I will say for areas that are south of US 460, generally looking at 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. Now, as we start to go towards Roanoke, Lynchburg, heading further north, trace of snow to 2 inches. So accumulating snowfall is still possible, but those totals will go down as we continue to head further and further toward the north. Now here's a look at your futurecast for today, because the thing is, the snow, it has to come to an end at some point. Now as we head into your Saturday afternoon, snow's still there. It's mainly moving along and south of US 460, especially continuing towards Southside Virginia. That will continue to be the case even as we head into your Saturday evening. Now this is just after 9 p.m. for our futurecast, and notice the snow coverage is definitely starting to taper off from west to east, and by the time we head into your Sunday morning, we're definitely looking drier. Now, if you have any plans on Sunday, maybe you're heading off to church, maybe you want to run errands, maybe you're heading to brunch. The thing to keep in mind is that we may still have some of those snow-covered roadways that weren't treated or they weren't plowed. So as you make those plans, you may want to give yourself extra time to get to where you need to go safely, just because slick conditions may still exist. Otherwise, though, we're looking good to go. We're not expecting any additional snow or even ice for the end of the weekend. And actually, we should stay mostly dry even as we head into your Monday. Thankfully, some warmer conditions are on the way. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's talk about our next issue. Even once the snow comes to an end, we're still going to have to talk about wintry conditions in a sense of how cold it's going to get outside. For your Saturday evening and into Sunday, wind speeds will pick up. We are looking at gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour as we head into your Sunday. If we have any power outages due to this event, it's going to be due to the winds. It's not necessarily going to be due to any of the snow that is falling from the sky. But those winds, they're coming in from the northwest. That's going to keep the cold Arctic air in place for your Sunday. High temperatures will mainly be in the teens and 20s. But the big thing is, it's going to be the morning temperatures for your Sunday. We're going to be starting off your Sunday morning mainly anywhere from the single digits and into the teens. But because of those winds blowing through, it's going to feel like it's below zero across southwest and central Virginia, with some of our coldest wind chill values as we head towards the Allegheny Highlands and New River Valley. Some places could have wind chills as low as 25 below zero for the start of your Sunday. Now, because of that, we do have extreme cold warnings in place for counties that are along and west of the Blue Ridge. That's when we're looking at those bitterly cold conditions and actually fairly dangerously cold wind chills. If you're outside in those for conditions for too long, that's when we're talking about the risk for frostbite. So I know some of the kiddos, they may want to head outside and play in this fluffy snow. It's definitely a lot better to play with, that's for sure. But the thing is, they need to be all bundled up. Put on the warm mittens, put on the waterproof dry boots, for example, the thicker coats, the hat, the scarves, whatever they need to keep that body heat closer to their body, because if that wind gets in, it's going to pull that heat away from their bodies, and that's what makes it feel colder outside. So main thing is, please limit your time outdoors, especially for Sunday, as we start to head towards Lynchburg, Appomattox, and Campbell counties, as well as Southside Virginia. That's where we have a cold weather advisory that will go into effect later today into Sunday, as that's where we could have those wind chill values as low as 5 below zero. Still don't want to spend too much time in those conditions, and you definitely want to make sure that you're layering up. Make sure to also keep an eye on your furry friends as well. They don't need to be out in these types of conditions. Now let's talk about overall the potential hazards that we're looking at for this weekend, because once again, it is not just about the snow, it's also the cold. So snow, it's still expected. It's going to continue throughout the day, ending by the time we head into your Sunday, but most of those impacts will occur as we head further toward the south. Though New River Valley, Southside Virginia, you're going to have more of the snowy impacts. However, we will still feel some of those impacts towards the Roanoke Valley and Central Virginia. They're just not going to be as widespread. Now, the main impact when it comes to the snow is the snow-covered roadways. It is cold outside. Temperatures, as far as the roads are concerned, are below the freezing mark. So any snow that does fall, it is going to stick. That's why we want to make sure that you're staying safe if you do plan on traveling. Otherwise, today would be a great day to stay at home, kind of cozy up on the couch, catch up whatever you're watching on Netflix, Hulu, whatever it may be. It would be great to stay inside, stay where it's a bit warmer. Now, speaking of warmer, Sunday, that's when we're really focusing in on those gusty winds and bitterly cold wind chill values. Be aware, isolated power outages may occur for the end of the weekend just because of those gusty conditions, but really the main focus is going to be the sub-zero wind chill values, even as we head into your Sunday afternoon. Now let's talk about those temperatures, because one of the big things that a lot of people have been talking about is the fact that the snow and ice that we actually had last weekend has not melted yet, and it's been a pain, let's face it. Now, we're still going to be below freezing for your Saturday and Sunday. However, for your Monday, Tuesday, throughout the rest of the week, we are going to be a little bit warmer, a touch. It is still going to feel like winter outside. We're still going to be trending cooler than average, but at least those temperatures are above the freezing mark into the 30s and 40s, so that should allow more of that snow and ice to melt across our region. As we start to head into the upcoming week, I'm keeping us pretty dry and quiet for your Monday and Tuesday. You may have noticed Wednesday, there is that chance for showers in our forecast, and it looks like a bit of wintry mix. We are keeping our eyes on a storm system that may throw some precipitation in our direction, more so as we head into your Wednesday. If it comes in early enough, we may have some of that wintry mix. So still some uncertainties at this time when it concerns Wednesday. Mainly our focus right now is this weekend, but we'll continue to provide updates as we head into the upcoming week. And with that, the WFXR PinPoint weather team will continue to provide updates here on our app as well as online, so you can find those updates when it comes to winter weather alerts and what else is going on in our region throughout much of the day. We're going to be back here at around 12 o'clock. Stay safe, everyone.